This is Coach Evan Phillips with the Phillips Tennis Method, and today I'd like to talk about movement and how it relates to hitting a tennis ball. And we're looking at a clip of Andy Murray playing Xavier Malisse here at the Toronto Open 2010, and I'd like to explain how you move the wrong way in tennis and how you do it correctly, and then see how it relates to the pros. So I'll come back to this clip later and show you how the pros move.
Hi, this is Coach Evan Phillips with the Phillips Tennis Method, and today I want to talk about footwork and movement. And this causes more problems, especially with younger players, than just about anything I've seen. I mean, one thing is to make the correct stroke as they're hitting the ball, but the other thing is to be in the right position, which means you have to have decent footwork in order to do that to hit. So let me demonstrate the wrong way to do it, and then I'll show you the correct way.
This is what I see a lot as I go to tennis clubs across the country, and I see pros teaching young kids, and a great deal of emphasis is put on moving, but not much is put on stopping or setting up in order to hit the ball. So the kids basically run through the ball as they're hitting it. And here you see me hitting some backhands, and as the racket is making contact with the ball, you can see my feet moving. This is called running through. And the whole idea is to stop or at least pause and set up in order to hit it. So what I'm showing here is how I teach my beginners, and basically I get them to come to a complete stop as they're about to swing at the ball. So they move to it or step to it, they stop and make the swing. And this is a bit of an exaggeration. Obviously, if you're playing at a high level, you don't have this much time to stop before hitting, but it's a very good feeling to incorporate in the early stages of learning the game. Here I'm showing how it actually works in playing, where you just have time to pause as you make the hit before recovering. And that's a closed stance forehand. And I'll show some where you can also do this open stance. And there I'm hitting with an open stance, but you can see a definite pause before I return to the ready position, which is close to the center of the court. So basically I move to the ball, I pause, I hit the ball, and then I recover. And this is the basic rhythm of tennis that is so important to learn, especially at an early age. And on this shot, I'm hitting off my front foot, my left foot, but the right foot is coming around because it's a wider shot, but my front foot still acts as the pivot point, or my balance foot. And here I'm hitting some backhands, and you can see the pause as I make the swing before I return to the ready position. So move to the ball, pause, hit it, back to the ready position. And this is done virtually every time you hit the tennis ball. The only time you wouldn't do this is if you have an emergency shot that you simply can't get there in time to set up for. So let's go back to the clip of Andy Murray and see how this relates to the touring pros. So here we have Malisse serving to Murray, and there's a bit of a rally, so let's see if Murray pauses when he hits the ball. So there's a bit of a pause on the return, and then he moves back to the center. Pause, moves back to the center. Stops on the slice. Pause, back to the center. Pause, back to the center. And there Murray hits a weak backhand off the back foot, and Malisse is able to hit it into the corner for a winner. But the main thing you want to take away from this is that there is a definite pause every time that tennis ball is hit. And you can certainly see this among the touring pros. And there's been so much emphasis on moving. There's so much more physical training among really good tennis players. But it's so important to understand in tennis that you have to move in order to get to the ball. But once you get to the ball, you have to pause or stop if you have enough time in order to hit the ball well. And you see this a lot in a player like Djokovic, who has a tremendous two-handed backhand, especially his down the line, and very often you'll see him stop before he hits it. This has been Coach Evan Phillips with the Phillips Tennis Method. Thanks so much for watching.